Hello beautiful people and welcome to another video. I'm really sorry if the camera angle's a bit skew with. It's taken me a really long time to get going today with filming, so I set up ages ago and then just stuff keeps happening. It's been really frustrating, so I'm finally filming, but there's something off with my tripod and I don't know what it is, so I can't fix it, so the angle's a little bit skewed, but hopefully you won't notice and it won't annoy you nearly as much as it is annoying me. Anyway, it's November favourites time. Can you believe? I can't. Seriously, I don't know where this year's gone. I haven't really done a sit down video in a while. I know I say that quite a lot. Over the last couple of months I've been quite poorly with asthma. I've got my inhaler here just in case I get a bit breathy and you can hear it. It's not been very nice, to be honest. I'm not going to go into it. So yeah, that's why I've been a bit quiet and videos have tended to be more vloggy. And you would have seen in some of my other videos that I've been ill. Anyway, November favourites, let's talk about them. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is the Sleek Faceform Contouring and Blush Palette in the shade Light. Now, I don't even know if Sleek sell this palette anymore because, as you can see, mine is buggered. So I actually wanted to go and get a new one to show you this in the video and I couldn't find it, so I don't even know if they still sell it. But essentially, this is a contouring and blush palette. It's got a contour, a highlight and a blush in it, obviously, and it is lovely. As you can see, I haven't touched the highlighter shade at all. It's a bit sort of battered and bruised, but I don't really use it. When it comes to highlighter, I tend to only wear it when I'm going out, and when I do, it tends to be a highlighter from an old glossy box, honestly about 3 or 4 years old, and it's a cream highlighter and I just love it, and that's the one I tend to use the most, and I've still got loads of it, so it's probably gone off but doesn't do me any harm. Anyway, rambling. So basically I have been using this every day for months, and like I said, I was going to buy a new one to show you it because, as you can see, I've hit pan on these two shades because it's wonderful. So I'm wearing it today. Now this contour shade actually looks quite warm and orange in the pan, but when on the skin it actually comes out as a really natural sort of shadowy shade. So when it comes to contouring, I literally just do a 3 around my face just to sort of get rid of the double chin and to give some definition to the roundness. And that's it. I don't go for any sort of like extreme editorial Kardashian-esque contouring. I just like it to look quite natural, and this is perfect for that. And the blush is actually a shit, sorry, I've just dropped the palette and then kicked my tripod, so that's great. But this is actually a dupe of NARS's Orgasm. Oh my god. It's a dupe of, no, hold on, sorry about that, just a ridiculous human. This, as I was trying to say repeatedly, is a dupe of NARS's Orgasm. So it's a really pretty sort of corally pink with a golden shimmer in it, and I just think it looks so pretty on the skin. On me, because I'm very pale, it actually tends to add sort of a natural flush, so it doesn't look too harsh or sort of like drag queeny pantomime damey. But yeah, it's just a lovely palette. I'd be really gutted if they don't sell this anymore because it's really nice. I think it was actually a dupe of something that NARS did a couple of years ago as well, but I can't be sure. But I've been loving that this month. I've actually been using it for a while. As you can see, it's a bit worse for wear. So my next favourite is the Pixi Glow Mud Cleanser. Now, I've actually had this for ages. Not this one, this is a brand new bottle. But I went to Florida in 2017 in June, and Pixi had come out in the UK then, but wasn't as easy to get hold of. I don't think it was in Boots then. It might have been, but not in any of my local Bootses. But yeah, so while I was in Florida, I went to Target. Love Target, it's so cool. It's like Asda on steroids, but better. Yeah, anyway, went to Target and they had like a mini gift set with the mud mask, the mud cleanser. There was one more thing as well, and the glow tonic, which I love. But yeah, so I recently tried this, and it was literally a case of I'm going swimming and I always take a cleanser after swimming to get the chlorine and stuff off my skin, and looked in my skincare drawers, which are the bottom two here, and I just picked it up and I was like, ah, well, that's going to get chlorine off my face, it's going to clean my skin. So I took it and I absolutely fell in love with it. So it's got the nicest sort of thick, it's a clay texture, so it's quite thick, and you just apply it, and it essentially acts as like a mini clay mask where it pulls all the crap out of your face, but it cleanses and it doesn't feel stripping or harsh on the skin. So I really like this so much that I've recently bought the full size. I've also recently bought the Pixi, it's the Glow Hyaluronic Gel Cleanser, and I am using that in the morning, and I really like that, but I've only been using it for a couple of days, whereas I've been using this for a solid sort of month and a half. It's really nice, but that might be a January or December favourite, but this is lovely. Really big fan of this. Do you ever feel like when you're talking about stuff, I don't know if this is just me, that you're just rambling and talking crap and repeating yourself? Because that is how I felt about the last 2 clips I've shot. One of them I've actually had to reshoot because the sun was blinding, and that was annoying. But yeah, sometimes I just feel like I'm talking utter bollocks. So if you like listening to that bollocks, I appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, what is with my fringe? It's just, I've just had it cut, and I know it takes a couple of days to settle, but it's really annoying me. It was really long when I went to get it cut, so ultimately my fringe is pissing me off at the moment, but I like it. I'll keep it. It's pissing me off. Anyway, the next thing I want to talk to you about is a lipstick, and you will notice that I am not wearing a bold dark red lipstick at this current moment in time. And I'll tell you for why. I've talked about this in a couple of other videos. I've had really dry lips, and I've noticed it gets significantly worse when I wear any of my beloved Kat Von D Everlasting liquid lipsticks, which seriously guys, I love, and it's the dryness has got so bad that I've actually had to stop wearing them, and I don't like it. But what I've been wearing instead is the MAC Luster lipstick, that's hard to say, MAC Luster lipstick in Syrup, which I have on today. Now this is just such a lovely lipstick. You can see that it's at a weird angle now because that's how much I use it. It's one of those ones, now like I said, my favourite lipsticks are matte and long lasting and comfortable to wear, but also they dry your lips out. This has just been such a good thing for me to wear as it's got colder, and just to sort of add a moisture boost back into my lips, but it's also such a pretty colour. So it's actually sort of like a plummy raspberry pinky shade, but because I have very pigmented lips, on me, I'm wearing it now, this is more of a nude. This looks very natural, and what I also love about this is that I can just apply it without looking at all. I mean, obviously I'm looking while I do this, but I was walking around Costco the other day and I was putting it on. Also, I'm doing Vlogmas this year, and I vlogged a trip to Costco, so that won't be up yet. This will be up before, but that will be coming on Thursday, but you should watch it when it comes out because I had quite a lot of fun. Ended up at Costco twice in one day. That's the whole story, I've ruined it. Anyway, this is just a really nice lipstick. It's very pretty, it's so comfortable, and whilst I don't love a sheenier finish, if you pat it in with your fingertip, sorry I'm flicking you off, it mattes it down. So, and it's just so comfortable to wear, and that's what I've needed. So I've really been loving this. I'm really trying not to ramble because I know how long my favourites videos are. 1, because I edit them. 2, I also watch them when I've edited them, and like I tend to watch them twice. It's a quality thing to check that it's okay and there's nothing in there that I don't want in there, and you know, and part of it's narcissism, I'll be honest. But yeah, I don't want to ramble, and I'm aware that in saying I don't want to ramble, I am in fact rambling. Anyway, my next favourite, it's kind of a weird one in that it's not something I would normally talk about, but it is something that took the beauty world by an absolute storm, and that is the GHD Glide Straightening Hairbrush. Now Mum, if you're watching, I'm sorry I bought this, except I'm not. Please don't shout at me, I really wanted it. So this is a straightening hairbrush, and it actually came out, it first came out towards the end of last year or the beginning of this year, and it sold out immediately, and then I had really wanted it and got on the mailing list for when it came back in stock, and it came back in sort of September time, and I bought it, and I really like it. Now as you can see, I have very curly hair. This is natural, although it's looking less like it's one side is shorter than the other at the moment, and I've realised why that was, but we're not going to go into that because that would be rambling. But basically, this is a straightening brush. These bristles are heated. It heats to 200 degrees, so it's not great for, it doesn't do any less damage to your hair, but because you spend much less time straightening your hair using this, it does, if that makes sense. But yeah, I really like it. What I have found is, because I have curly hair, this isn't something I can straighten my hair with straight away. I tried, it didn't work. I've also got a terrible hairdryer which I need to replace, and I've had for about 6 or 7 years, which doesn't help. So basically, when I blow dry my hair, which I try not to do because I don't want to apply 2 doses of heat to it, but when I blow dry my hair, it's a big frizzy giant mess, like very Monica in Barbados. Like, it's the humidity. That is what my hair goes like when I blow dry it. When a hairdresser blow dries it, it's very sleek and nice. Don't know how they do it. But then if I use this, it takes away some of the frizziness, but it tends to still be quite puffy. But poofy is the word I wanted to say, not puffy. That's something you put your feet on. Anyway, so what I tend to do is I tend to leave my hair curly. If I want to straighten it, I'll wash it in the morning, leave it to dry naturally throughout the day, and then straighten it using the L'Oreal Steam Pod straighteners, which I've had for a year and I'm absolutely obsessed with. They are the best straighteners I've ever used. And then once I've done that, I will go over it with this just to get any of the flyaways, and then I will use this to re-straighten my hair for as long as I have my hair straight. So until my next hair wash, which can be anywhere from 1 to 4 days, depending on how lazy I'm being and how much dry shampoo I have. And I really like this. I think it's such a good sort of solution for traveling. I just really like it a lot. But as I've said, there are problems with it in terms of very curly hair. But if you have naturally straight hair and you just want a quick zhuzh, this is perfect for you. You lucky straight-haired bastards. I didn't mean that, but I did, but I didn't. But yeah, I liked this a lot. And also, this clip is 3.5 minutes. Stop rambling. So those were all my beauty favourites, but now I've got some non-beauty favourites that I want to talk about. The first being a new podcast, which isn't that new, but is new to me, and I am absolutely in love with it, and that is Shagged, Married, Annoyed, Chris and Rosie Ramsey. I have been telling all of my family about this. I like Chris Ramsey as a comedian anyway, and I followed Rosie anyway, and then I don't know why I just started listening to it. I think they kept talking about it on Instagram and I thought, I'll check it out, and I really like it. I tend to have, with podcasts, an attention span of an hour. If it's longer than that, I lose interest. Like, same with films. Obviously I don't watch a lot of films. TV shows, it needs to hold my interest, but these are perfect because they're sort of 45 to 55 minutes. So I can actually listen to quite a few of them in one hit, and I just really love them. And I think the main reason I do is that you're just listening to a conversation between 2 people who just utterly adore each other. And it just, they love spending time together, they love talking to each other, they make each other laugh, and you feel like it's such a privilege to be privy to that. Or that's certainly how I feel, and I just absolutely love it, and it gives me so much hope. It's kind of like, not hope, but it's kind of like the relationship model I would go for, where you just love that person, and but more importantly than that, you like them and you like being around them. And they've said, I've watched like loads of interviews around it and stuff, they've said that they started the podcast so they could talk to each other more, and I love it for that reason alone. And it's funny, it's really funny. Sometimes it's been disgusting, really disgusting. They should have a trigger warning on the disgusting ones, I think, because basically the format is they have a chat, they talk to each other about things they do that annoy each other in a segment called What's Your Beef, which I think it's great, it's really funny. And then they take questions from the public and questions from a celebrity, and it's just hilarious. I thoroughly recommend that. My next favourite is something I watched when I first got ill, so this would have been sort of the middle of October, and it is season 5 and 6 of BoJack Horseman. Now, I really struggled to get into BoJack Horseman when it first came out, and then I sort of through exposure, because I kept putting it on even though I was like, it's not that great, and then I was just like, suddenly I loved it. And then I didn't watch the last series for whatever reason, and then when the new one came out and everyone was raving about how good it was, I thought, actually I do really like it. I'll start watching it again. And I watched series 5 and 6 and literally in a matter of days, and I absolutely loved it. It's amazing to me that something that on the face of it looks so silly. So if you don't watch BoJack Horseman, brief summary is it's essentially an animated sort of black comedy in that well, that's what it is, but it's a world where humans and anthropomorphic animals sort of coexist, and that's just the way things are. It's normal. And BoJack Horseman is essentially a failed actor who was really big in the 90s on a really cheesy sitcom, and it's essentially all about him and his mental descent and his issues. So it's all about his mental health basically, and he struggles with depression and addiction, and he has a horrible backstory, and it's just how he is this really truly emotionally damaged person, and how that, even though he's a horse, and that has led him to do those things to other people. And it's essentially a really vicious cycle of emotional abuse. It's very dark, but it's very funny. And the last series, the last 2 episodes especially, it looks like BoJack's turned everything around, and you know, it ends on a cliffhanger. So it's on a mid-series break. It starts again in January, and you know that a sucker punch is coming, and you don't want it to, but you also know that he deserves it, even though you love him for all of his damaged brokenness. You know he's a bad person, you know that he's awful, so you know that ultimately you don't want that to come. You don't want this thing to sort of hit him when just as he's turned his life around. He's not drinking, he's got a new job, he's finally turning a corner and making himself happy, and the shit's gonna hit the fan in a really big way, and you don't want that to for him, but you also know that he deserves it. It's very, very clever, it's very nuanced, it's incredibly powerful, and it's fucking hilarious. It's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, if you haven't watched any BoJack Horseman, you should, but the latest series, the last 2, are amazing. They're truly, truly excellent, so definitely check those out. Okay, so I have now got 2 song recommendations, and I will be quick, and they are for the first time, and I've just forgotten who, I've just looked up who it was that sings this song, which I love and have been listening to on repeat. Best Coast, for the first time by Best Coast, and Will We Talk by Sam Fender. I have had them both sort of on and off repeat. For the first time is sort of very happy, but it's not, in that it's a very happy sounding song, but it's about something that's, so obviously this person has been very depressed and very sad and very unhappy, and they're caring about themselves for the first time, and they are looking after themselves for the first time. So good stuff is coming, but it hasn't happened yet. It's brilliant, and it's such a happy sounding song, and it's got an excellent, it's just so addictive, like I could listen to it over and over again. And then Will We Talk by Sam Fender is more of the same, but in a different style. So for the first time is very sort of poppy-ish, and Will We Talk is just fucking brilliant. Like everything about it, I just love it. I love the weird sort of electro-y beginning, and just how it turns into sort of this classic rock and roll kind of sound. Oh, it's so good. Like I just really, really like it. And again, it's about a one-night stand, and it's essentially, if we go home and sleep together, are we going to talk tomorrow? And the answer is no, but it's not going to change anything if they're still going to do it. Love it, it's so good. And my final favourite, and this was meant to be an October favourite, but kind of got forgotten in the fact that I was so ill. So at the very beginning of October, on the 3rd of October, I went to see Amelie the Musical in Southampton with my friend Adam, and it was amazing. It was so, so good. Now Adam, you have very briefly met in my Hamilton vlog from a year ago, nearly 2 years now, and he is a professor of musical theatre. He has a doctorate in it. I am a musical theatre lover, and it was my idea, and I will tell you why. It was whenever I was on Instagram stories, I got it as a sponsored ad, and it got to the point where I was like expecting it and hearing the music, and I was like, ooh, And then I was just like, well, I'm gonna have to go. And I'd missed the London date at that point, but I know Adam lives in Southampton. I was like, well, I haven't seen him in ages, so we went, and I just absolutely loved it, to the point where I am planning on booking to see it, because it's transferred to the West End now, in January at some point, because January is a depressing as hell month and I need something to look forward to. But everything about it is just wonderful. It's the most magical story. It's based on the film with Audrey Tautou. I think that's it. That could be wrong. I think it's Audrey Tautou, which I haven't actually seen, by the way. And it was a Broadway show, but they've completely rearranged it, and it's actually a actor-musician musical, which means all of the actors, or most of the actors, play the musicians. All of the actors play musical instruments, and they do it on stage. So it's like if you'd seen Once, which I also adored, it's very much like that, and it's just the most beautiful production. It's got puppets in it, it's magical, it's utterly bizarre, and the songs are amazing. Now, there is a Broadway cast recording, and the songs there are still lovely, but the new arrangement with all of the instruments and the layering, and oh, it's just so gorgeous. So I really hope they release a cast recording of that, because it's just stunning. So yeah, absolutely loved it. There's a couple of songs, I'm gonna name all of the songs now, but Times Are Hard for Dreamers is stunning. I actually spent all of Paris walking around listening to that, because obviously Amelie is set in Paris, so I was like, oh, I'm Amelie. So yeah, that's gorgeous. There is Stay, which is my current favourite, which is beautiful. There's When the Booth Goes Bright, which on the Broadway recording is a bit naff. It's very sort of ballady and a bit shit. It's a beautiful song, the lyrics are lovely, but it's just, it doesn't reach its full potential, or the same potential that it does in this production, where it's so gorgeous. Like, it's just the most amazing song, and they've sped it up, and they've got all these it's like a call and response where they have the actors singing it instead of being a solo. Oh, it's just gorgeous. And then Thin Air is another one, and also Halfway. So those were all my November favourites. I really can't believe we're at this point in the year. I know, so stupid to say, but like, time goes so quickly, and the older I get, the more quick it goes. Like, it feels like the days go slowly, but the weeks and the months go fast. But yeah, I'm actually really struggling. It's the so we're on the 8th of December, and I'm hoping to get this edited and posted today. And I just am not feeling Christmassy or festive at all yet, and I don't know if it's because I haven't got any decorations. I mean, I've got an advent calendar there, which I keep forgetting to do. That doesn't help. I haven't really finished my Christmas shopping yet, so I don't know. I'm just really not feeling festive, but I'm gonna maybe watch The Muppets Christmas Carol or something to kind of get in the festive spirit. But yeah, I am not making any real Christmas content this year. I don't normally on my blog anyway, and this is the first year that I've been posting regularly on YouTube. So and there is a reason for that, and that reason is this isn't my full-time job. This is something I love to do, but it's more of like a side hustle thing. It's not my full-time job. And I think with Christmas gift guides and Christmas content, it tends to be, if you're a professional YouTuber and you have the time and the resources and to make those kinds of videos, and I just don't. And also, it's whilst I find them interesting sometimes, it's not something I find overly interesting all the time. So it's, I think with Christmas shopping, it's so personal to you and the people you're buying for. So I don't know, I just feel a bit weird telling you what to buy for people you love and you know way better than I do. So yeah, and also I'm really struggling with what to buy my family this year, so it'd be really hypocritical of me to be like, this is what you buy your family. But yeah, I might do some Christmas content in terms of Christmas songs, because my favourite Christmas songs are quite, not unusual, but I like, they're rare. They're not ones that are played constantly every year. So maybe I will do that. Maybe I'll do that when I finish recording this. But in terms of Christmas content, I am doing Vlogmas. My first video will be up on Thursday, the coming Thursday, which is the 12th, which is election day, which is very important. I hope you're all registered to vote, and we'll be voting Labour. But yeah, I'm just rambling now, and I didn't want to do that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It was lovely to sit down and do a proper video, even though I had so many false starts. if you did like this video, please like, subscribe, ring that bell, all that jazz. Comment below. Tell me if you loved my favourites. Tell me if you hated them. Don't be a dick about it. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.